Welcome back. Today we're talking about a 21-year-old Irish-Canadian defender called Kyle Degelman, older brother of fellow pro footballer Owen, who he himself is currently with Armagh FC in the Northern Ireland second tier. Have a listen to that pod, the link's going to be just up above here. Kyle's journey is also extremely varied, just like his brother, and interesting, and again showing the lengths and determination he's willing to go to make it in the game, leaving no stone unturned. Born on the 24th of February 2004 in Canada to Irish, German and Canadian heritage. He holds an Irish passport via his mother's side, Canadian by birth and his parents being from Canada, and German from his dad's side, but I believe that's outside the scope of ever representing Germany internationally. If when that happens, it's going to be a straight shootout just between Ireland and Canada. He started out in earnest with local side Lakehill FC and then on to Vancouver Island Waves. Then in 2017 he was picked up by MLS side Vancouver Whitecaps, joining their academy as an only 13-year-old. A big deal for anyone, but especially when it's your own city's team, which is also a big time club in the US, Canada football. It's probably a boyhood dream to sign for them and represent them. It's also a hub of Canadian international pedigree, which a lot of who's who of former and current Canadian internationals at senior and underage level passing through their doors throughout the years. So a great place to be at, learn with, grow, and got a lot of expertise in a club like that. There he stayed honing his craft until the 1st of July when at the very young age of 16 he decided to up sticks, move from Canada to Germany, and the underage setup of Hertha Zehlendorf, a Berlin club who are in the fourth tier of the German footballing pyramid, playing predominantly in their under 17. So it's not like he's gone to Bayern Munich's academy, which is an easy decision to make, going to, a Bundesliga team or whatever. He's going to a fourth tier side in Germany. So you got to take your hat off, because he could easily have stayed with the Whitecaps and bided his time, but he wasn't willing to hang around. He stayed with Zehlendorf from the 1st of July 2020 until the 30th of June 21, so the full 2021 season. When he moved on at the time, I believe, to fellow fourth tier German side, now third tier German side, Energie Cottbus, joining the 1st of July 2021, playing in their under 19s. However, his stay was a short one and he left the following month on the 15th of August. You'd imagine that's due down to injury, I guess. Don't know, but I guess. Again, like other leagues and countries and lower down the tiers, it can be a bit cutthroat from clubs where finances are tight and contracts short, maybe not even honoured. If an injury happens, they're basically forcing you out the door, or if you're not what they want, they're forcing you out the door. They're telling you, listen, you have to move on. Even though you might still have a contract, maybe you don't. But even if you do have a contract, it's not a guarantee that you're going to be staying there. So whatever anyway happened, in those situations, the ties are cut and it's up to the player to sort out their own stuff, whether it's injury or whatever the issue is, and then make their way back to where they were, hopefully. You can understand it from a club's point of view, as you're talking about tight budgets, lower down the leagues, as I said. But from a player's perspective, it can be fairly brutal and devastating, and it puts a lot of people in a bad space mentally and can be hard to come back from. Like, it's hard regardless, whatever level it happens at. You could be at the top club in the world, it's devastating, but it's not more devastating at, as I said, let's say in Germany, Bayern Munich, than it is in the fourth tier, and it's not more devastating in the fourth tier than it is at the top tier. But it's a devastating spot to be in, full stop. In Kyle's situation, even tougher, because again, he's on the other side of the world. He has no family, friends, network, team around him. He's only a young kid and he's on the other side of the world, far away from home. Must have been a lonely place to be. Shows a very strong character in any situation like that, but especially in Kyle's situation, to come back and not give up when a lot of people would have given up at that stage or gone home with their tail between their legs. From there, he bounced around a variety of clubs and locations on short-term and trials between Germany, Austria, back in Canada for a while, and then back again to Germany. That was all between 22 and 24. Sides were German side MSV Pampow, Austrian side WSG Tirol. They're second side. York United and Hamilton United back in Canada, and then back again to Germany with Brinkumer SV. He did a couple of senior appearances at Pampow and WSG Tirol, again the reserve team of WSC Tirol. But his real first bow into the senior game came at Brinkumer SV in the German fifth tier when, as a 19-year-old, he turned out 10 times in total, which were all starts and a lot of minutes in those games, entire games mostly. On the 3rd of January 2024, he moved to fellow fifth-tier German side SPVGG Bayern Hof, turning out a total of 9 times, with again a lot of minutes therein during the remainder of the 23-24 season, i.e. at his breakout season in the German fifth tier, albeit with 2 different teams, Brinkumer and then Bayern Hof in the 23-24 season, playing throughout. From there he moved on to a fourth country at such a young age, showing he isn't afraid to go wherever is best for him in his career, moving to Gibraltar with top tier side Lynx FC for the 24-25 season on the 8th of August 2024, turning out week in week out again 12 times in total with a lot of minutes under his belt again with them as a now fully fledged pro. On one side it will have been hard on him bouncing around the uncertainty of that, but he will have also learned a lot today. Probably not something he was thinking of at the time, of course. He was probably thinking, when is this going to just even out and I can get a good run at one club and this is my base. But it shows a lot of grit and hard work, which no doubt suitors will have taken note about. And all the contacts you're making too by default, moving around different countries, different clubs. The fact you keep getting picked up is a sign that people are obviously impressed by your attitude on and off the field. Obviously you don't want to be moving around all that much, but on the flip side, if you are, you're impressing and widening your network, learning on the job, so to speak, showing that you have that never say die attitude, all while continually keeping the head down, honing your craft, putting in the hard work, improving your skill set, growing as a player in the senior game as opposed to staying in underage football. That little bit too long perhaps, and again perhaps what you don't want to be doing if you're in the 4th, 5th tier in Germany. You don't want to be just sitting in an academy. That's not the place to be. So, really, if you're going to be in the 4th, 5th tier in Germany, you want to be mixing in and around and playing first team football, which again Kyle was doing, and now at Lynx FC in Gibraltar. This now brings us up to date on the club side. When on the 3rd of February this year, so just a few months ago, 2025, the now 21-year-old signed for the very talented Irish First Division Irish second tier side Bray Wanderers, who currently sit 3rd in the table, kind of halfway, just slightly over halfway through the Irish season now, in June, just turned July. He initially hit the ground running, making his debut shortly after he arrived on the 15th of February, i.e. the same month, 13 days later, starting and playing the entire match while also contributing with an assist, so the perfect debut, you'd have to say. He appeared in the next match but picked up an injury shortly thereafter, which will have been a blow to him, and the injury kept him out since, but he's back in training, making the bench a few times in the last few matches. So it's a case of getting that match fitness back now after his spell on the sidelines, hopefully, and picking up where he left off at the very start of his, after signing for Bray. And again, there's a lot of football left in the Irish season. It's a summer league and has about 4 months left of game time, so a lot of football, a lot of matches between now and the end of the season, so a lot of opportunity for him to get back to where he started off at Bray. At only 21, he's already an experienced pro, to date playing in 5 different countries on both sides of the globe, showing his dedication to his craft, doing whatever it takes, and willingness to move outside his comfort zone, away from his family and friends, displays he will do whatever it takes to continue to move up the levels in his already well-travelled pro career, and the lessons he will have learned as a result to date at still such a very young age. He's only 21, just a few months. Now perhaps is the right time to put down some roots, especially after his injuries, and where better to do it at a side that promotes youth, also a very talented side with a lot of experience even at that young age. Obviously there's all the players there too. So he has a lot of peers there he can learn from, mentor him, and again he can also show what he's learned playing around the globe to date. And Bray is a side that, as I said, gives opportunity to youths, so he will have the opportunities to continue his early promise on a path to week in, week out 90-minute football, whilst also learning from an experienced backroom staff and again the very talented players that are also currently there. One thing is sure, as displayed already with this guy, nothing will ever stop him. Never say die attitude, and the potential routes and levels in the game open to him really are endless with that kind of attitude that you're just not going to accept anything less. For now, down your roots, finish the season out with Bray strong, which I'm sure he'll do. Maybe stay with Bray, stay in the League of Ireland, put a full season at this one club next year in Ireland and move on from there. But exciting times already and exciting times to come. If you liked the video, send us a like, subscribe, or leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Or buy us a coffee at the link in the description. And as always, we'll be watching.